At 7:37 a.m. local time earlier today, a major and destructive magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck the Philippines. Centered about 58 kilometers south of General Santos City, this earthquake caused the ground to shake back and forth across a vast area for approximately 45 seconds. This shaking was worst on the southern coast of the island of Mindanao east of Kiamba, causing some entire buildings to collapse, cracking some other structures, throwing many items to the ground, and generating landslides. It initially appeared that this was the feared big one that scientists such as myself had been fearing. As, well yes, the Philippines is surrounded by multiple major tectonic plate boundaries, these plate boundaries tend to not be as tsunami-genic as a typical convergent plate boundary is if it produces a similar major magnitude earthquake. That is, with one key exception, a geographic feature known as the Cotabato Trench. This trench is very tsunami-genic and it has been the source of 3 deadly tsunamis since 1900. With the earthquake magnitude initially being given as an 8.2 and occurring on the Cotabato Trench, it seemed like a major tsunami with wave heights of up to 7 to 9 meters was all but inevitable. Here's a quick transcription with cursing removed of the genuine panic and fear I felt when early reports of this earthquake came in. Yet, while a wide-ranging tsunami was generated, it only peaked at a height of 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet. Enough to cause some damage, but not enough to completely sweep away parts of or all of some nearshore communities. Also, even in the hardest hit areas, damage to buildings was not total and extensive in a given area. Seemingly undamaged structures are next to slightly damaged structures, and these are interspersed with far less common structures that partially or fully collapsed. I hate to say it, but the Philippines locked down in this instance for a simple reason. Instead of thousands of fatalities potentially occurring, the current count is only 37, and this is all because the earthquake which struck was unusually deep, surprisingly not being a megathrust-type earthquake. Instead, it was an intraslab earthquake of a reverse fault type. This not only meant that some of the energy from seismic waves was reduced by the time it made its way to populated areas, but also that there was less extensive of a surface displacement on the ocean floor to generate a tsunami. Thus, the current number of modeled fatalities and economic damage from this major earthquake, which was the largest seismic event to strike the Philippines in 50 years, is modeled to most likely be between 10 and 100 fatalities and between 100 million and $1 billion in damage. Still a major disaster, but it could have been so much worse. So you can understand why this earthquake occurred off of southwestern and southern Mindanao. The eastward moving Sunda plate is colliding with and subducting underneath the Philippine Mobile Belt. Over time, stress built up on the subducting Sunda plate as it is slowly being bent downwards at an increasing angle with increasing depth. This motion creates compressional strain, which builds up until a lengthy portion of the slab slipped to accommodate this motion, generating an earthquake. Some of this displacement may have even reached the ocean floor or generated underwater landslides to trigger the observed tsunami waves. Liquefaction damage from the 7.8 earthquake was modeled to be extensive, but I do want to note that U.S. Geological Survey models tend to, but do not always, heavily overestimate the extent of liquefaction damage. By the way, severe liquefaction damage looks like these images caused when sediments temporarily behave like a liquid during intense ground motion from an earthquake. While hundreds of aftershocks have already struck, this is to be expected, and more are likely to continue to strike at a decreasing rate over time, generally following a 1/x rate if x represents the time since the main shock. Some of these aftershocks are likely to be more than sufficient in size to cause their own damage, with the largest such aftershock being a magnitude 6.5 so far, which struck at 8:55 a.m. Remember, earthquakes cannot be predicted. Ignore what in my opinion are pseudoscience types who keep trying to claim that earthquakes have links to solar storms because, well, they don't. Stop it. All that I am describing is merely a long-term trend that most tectonic earthquake sequences tend to follow in regards to the rate of aftershocks. Also, stay away from the shoreline if you see any unusual currents, as these can represent small-scale tsunamis. Stay safe, everyone, and stay tuned for more updates.